So Tom, obviously you've got that first game out of the way now. You head back to Queensland and play against the Reds, playing against your former team.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting actually. Obviously that first win was massive for us, and it's what we've been focusing on this whole pre-season. But I think this is a really crucial match for us. They'll be really wanting to win after that performance. So I think this is really crucial for our season.
You know the psyche of this team pretty well. How did they respond to what happened last weekend?
I think it's like any team, that when there's so much hype over the off season, what they've tried to build, and they have a season opener like that, they're going to try and bounce back as hard as they can. So we've got to weather the storm early and then just look to play our own game. What
about you? Are you happy with the way you went first up?
Yeah, there's some positives and some negatives. I'm always looking to improve my game, but I think it's just mainly focusing on the team and what I can do for the team. So in that respect, I think there's always work to improve on.
You came to the Brumbies to have a chance here, didn't you? Because you're just on the fringe there at Queensland. Yeah. Do you feel as though you have a point to prove almost going back there?
Not so much a point to prove, but I always love playing Queensland because I suppose I did get my start there and a bit of history there. But I just love to sort of play a Super Rugby game against them. I think it's a big good Aussie derby, and I think the team will be really looking forward to it.
How will they react without Scott Higginbotham, do you think, their leader, their captain? Yeah, how do you think they'll go?
Obviously that was a big loss for them, but I think they've got a lot of talented back rows and that sort of stuff. So I think it won't worry them too much, and I think they've got a lot of backup. So again, they're going to play a hard, strong game. We've got to look to stop that.
How did you find the new style of Brumbies play on the weekend? You know, obviously trying to get ball in hand. Did you think that it was hard to settle into a pattern there at one stage?
Yeah, it's always hard, sort of the first game of the season. You still trying to get your structures together and all that. But there were some good glimpses. We had some really good passages of play, and I think the structure we're trying to play will take a little bit of time. But I think we're definitely looking a lot better.
Just got to avoid playing that touch football.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to go through them before you can sort of go around them, that sort of stuff. You got to avoid those silly offloads and that. I think we're definitely looking to do that.
Has that been the focus this week a little bit, just to, you know, up the tempo when you need to, but sort of play that conservative grinding style of football?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the Brumbies have been known for over the past, is sort of grinding it out. We're trying to look to expand and just play a lot more expansive rugby, but you've got to get those fundamentals right and play through them before you can look to do that fancy stuff.
How much do you think having Christian back helped, I guess, settle that ship, and steer particularly the back around a bit more?
Definitely. He's such a calming influence, especially on the field. He sort of just so influencing in what he says, and he's real calm on the field, and I think that really helps the outside backs and the inside backs. So he just brings a sense of calmness to him, and I think that really relaxes everyone.
And what did Dan say to the boys at half-time to try and, I guess, light a bit of a fire in the belly to get you guys going in the second half?
He didn't sort of say too much in an aggressive way, and he just sort of said stick to our structures. We know they're going to work eventually, and we just got to sort of play to our strengths. And I think we found that in the end, but it definitely wasn't a growling. It's just sort of stick to our own structures, and it'll eventually pay off.
And chatting to Michael Checker last week as well, he said that you're kind of on that radar again for the Wallabies again this year. Obviously, is that a consideration for you now, or is it something that you're kind of not thinking about until a bit closer to June? Yeah,
definitely. I don't think it's too early in the season to think about that sort of stuff yet. I think it's getting a good solid start for the Brumbies, and looking to progress our season. I think that'll be the main focus.
Dan's been an assistant coach here for quite a few years now. Has it been a pretty seamless sort of transition for him to step up to be head coach?
Yeah. Since I've been here, all the boys really love him and get around him. I think after Bernie left, it was the obvious choice that he'd step in, and I think he's done a wonderful job. And the things he's tried to bring in, and sort of with Huey and that, I think it's only looking up for us.
And 3 weeks on the road first up, is that challenging as a player to get your head around mentally?
Yeah, it is actually 3 weeks on the road, especially starting off in Tokyo, then obviously those two Aussie derbies. But I think the good thing is if we can get a good start to the season, then we know that we've got those home games, and then just look to build from that. So obviously these 3 away games are massive for us in telling for the season.
Yeah, the injury to Rob obviously really devastating for the guys. What do you say to a guy in that position? He's going to be out for an extended period of time.
I suppose you've just got to, it's pretty cliche, but you just got to get around him. I think he's a Melbourne boy, so he's moved up here. But he's played so well in the NRC, and he's obviously played well in those first few minutes when he got on. So you've just got to get around him, because he's going to come back better than ever, and I think he's got a long future ahead in Super Rugby.